Okay guys, girls, lords, ladies and gentlemen, this is Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time, bringing you your regular dose of reason, logic and strange new agey stuff too. I'm doing this video because I'm still rather upset by Thunderf00t's misuse of data and a blatant disrespect for the scientific method. For those of you who know my history here on YouTube, you'll know that I'm not an atheist, and nor will I ever be, or could I ever be, an atheist under any circumstances whatsoever. I am someone who's got a strong interest in science, and I label myself as a deist because deists primarily believe in reason, and reason essentially above all else. My personal history is rather diverse. I did a degree in sociology with psychology between 96 and 99 in one of the finest and most well-respected universities for the social science and psychological sciences in the European Union. I've also studied courses in counselling theory and practice. After my degree, I did 1 year's worth of open university in which I studied on two main courses, one of which was entitled Brain Biology and Behaviour, in which there was a large neurological component, but of course we also covered behavioural science as well. And there was a strong statistical component in that one, as well as in the sociology and psychology. As far as the other module I did with the Open University, that was essentially about natural science, and that dealt with a lot of the things which is already covered on many YouTube videos, such as geology, subduction levels, evolution, abiogenesis to a certain degree, and a wide variety of other things. So I'm by no means some 18-year-old individual who just picked up a pack of tarot cards and wants to make a complete arse of themselves on YouTube. Okay, of course, if I had actually kept up my membership with the ACCA, I would be legally labelled or called a part qualified accountant, because I studied accountancy for a couple of years. So you can't say that I am an uneducated or undereducated individual, especially when it comes to matters relating to the sciences. Okay, I think that one of the most important things about me as an individual is that I've got this interest in science, as well as an interest in what could be roughly called spiritual matters and various other forms, various forms of new age type phenomenon. Now, if you're going to do an investigation into the social and psychological world, you need to follow the scientific method, and to do so properly. You need to think about the quality of data that you're actually collecting, because there's four different types. There's nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio data. When you're going through the process of creating your experiment itself, you've got to have two conditions. You've got to have a control condition, and you've got to have a condition in which you're actually putting another factor into the apparently natural world, so that, or the experimental world in this particular case, so that you can ascertain whether that particular factor has had a significant effect upon the results. You think about the quality, the type of data which you've gathered, and you apply the right variety of statistical tests to it. If you're using a form of nominal data, you might want to choose a test such as the chi test, but there's also a wide variety of other different types which are called parametric and non-parametric tests. I mean, the tests which I have used throughout my academic career, my undergraduate career, included Pearson, Spearman, Chi, Mann-Whitney, Yakuska, Wallace, Page, L-Tran, just to name but a few. And we used Wilcox and Side-Ranks tests rather a lot when doing the Open University summer school especially. And so I understand these things to a certain degree. I don't have a PhD, and I can be quite open about that and quite proud of that. But when I think about the abomination that was created by Thunderf00t, I mean, I think it's quite good that I've got sense and reason, which seems to substantially outrank Thunderf00t's alleged PhD. The thing that really upsets me, and upsets me on a very deep level, is Thunderf00t's alleged belief in the scientific methodology. but his complete and utter inability to apply it to what is actually happening on YouTube. He gave the example of the thumbs up on his video and regarded that as being a representative sample. A representative sample of what? And in what way was it representative? Okay, and where is the other condition? Okay, where is the control condition? There is no control condition. Was there a fully stratified sample? I mean, when someone is doing social research, they have to get various forms of quota together. And the quota can be in terms of like an earning bracket of a group of people. It could be their ethnicity, it could be their theology, it could be their gender, if you're working out gender differences in the way that men and women react differently to various different things. You know, where is this? I mean, you can look at a chart of social stratification a bit like a pyramid, alright, with the various different earning brackets at various different levels. You've got to think about the quantity of people there are within the various different earning brackets, and you've got to choose your sample size to represent each and every single one of these groups. When you're, I mean, if you just think about the earning bracket full stop, you've got to write up your results and your conclusion to reflect this. So your experiment will not just be testing the whole population, it will be testing the various different levels of the social strata, okay, in terms of, in this particular case, earning potential, or earning level, or you could have it divided into two based upon gender, taking into account the quantity of men and the quantity of women there are within this particular social group. You've got to think about what type of social group you're investigating. You could be doing an opinion piece, for instance, on the people who work in a certain company, and in order to do that, and to do that well, you would have to interview a significant percentage of the people who work in that company, and also take into account the position that they have, the rank that they have, and other things which have affected their position within the company, including the number of men and the number of women who work there, the number of blacks, Asians, Chinese people, Caucasians, and all the rest of that who also work there. So the test itself would have to become very detailed. Now, to say that just 8,000 people or whatever have rated on a video is not taking into account any of the factors which make up the sample. It's just saying that there is a group of people, 1,000 people in this particular case, okay, who have clicked a certain button on a page. Now, YouTube has actually got a demographics bit on the inside page. Okay, you can go to the inside, you can have a look at the demographics. You can see how many of them are men, how many of them are women, you can see what countries they come from, you can see what age ranges they are, roughly speaking, and you can get a feeling for your target audience. Has Thunderf00t actually gone into any of those things on his video? No, he hasn't. Alright, because you can go to just that one video, look at the inside stats for that one video, and work out something about it. You could also probably have a look at the ratings. I mean, I haven't studied the inside page in too much depth because I haven't needed to. And on top of that, I'm not doing a full social study on my YouTube audience. Now, my point here is in fact relatively simple, despite the quantity of technical information that I've given you. For a person to be able to make a claim, a person who especially considers himself to be a scientist, to be able to make a claim, they've got to be able to seriously back up that claim. On top of that, their experimental design would have to be open to intense scrutiny and criticism, and their conclusions would have to be criticized extensively as well. Not by saying, your conclusions are crap, but by saying, this is what we think is wrong with your conclusions. Alright, and taking all of those criticisms, and using those criticisms as the basis to build a better experiment. Okay, you've also got to be able to criticize the variety of data which is used, you've got to be able to criticize the statistical tests which are used, and eventually you can reach the point of saying whether there was some merits to the experiments or whether there wasn't any merits to the experiment. When you're dealing with social and psychological phenomena, you are not bringing yourself to the point of being able to make a statement of fact. You can make a truth claim within certain limits, but only within certain limits. You cannot make a statement of hard and fast fact. If something turns out to be statistically significant, that can be a very interesting thing and a very positive thing. But just because something is statistically significant doesn't mean to say that it is necessarily useful, because again, within science there is the understanding that there's various qualities of information. There's good information, there's bad information, there's indifferent information, and it depends upon the circumstances. And this is also something which has to be analysed in great detail. Now, being here on YouTube, I don't see people using in-depth scientific analysis, even of the type which I've described. Okay, a guy who's got a degree in sociology with psychology and done a few other courses here and there. Not even at this level. Certainly not a PhD level. The best place that I've seen good quality scientific studies is on something like a channel, and sometimes things that come out of Stanford University on here on YouTube. And I'd recommend that people go and watch some stuff, especially from channel, which is actually fascinating. When someone is in a position of authority, they have a duty of care to be able to express themselves well. They have a duty of care to their audience. They have a duty of care to the people that they are going to influence as a result of their words. It's a bit of a fallacy to assume that if a person has a certain alleged rank or qualification, that they know what they're talking about, or that they actually care in the slightest for the impact of what they say. There's an awful lot more I could say in this video, but I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Speak to you soon. Nick Dutch signing out for now.